Hey, what's going on? So got more spoilers today. So pretty exciting. Always exciting when we get to see more cards in standard. Then when they're all gone, we're just like, where's more cards? We want to see more cards. Keep making more cards. If you're new to this channel, this is my first season doing spoilers. So hit like and subscribe for me so that you can just keep up to date on all the new spoilers that are coming out on this channel. If you're already subscribed, thank you. I appreciate it so much. Let's just jump in here and get these spoilers going because there's over 30 of them, so let's get to it. So I'm going to do it just like I did the other day. I think I'm just going to pull up a big list of cards and we're just going to go through them together. I've seen a handful of them. I haven't seen them all, but we're gonna read them out and talk about the good ones and maybe just skip through quickly on the bad ones. But so let's start it off with Punitive Rod. 3 colorless artifact. 3 tap. Punitive Rod deals 1 damage to any target. When Punitive Rod is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to any target. So that's not too horrible. Next one, Field of the Dead. It is a land. It is a rare. Field of the Dead enters the battlefield tapped. Tap it to add a colorless mana. Whenever Field of the Dead or another land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands with different names, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. That's a lot of lands with different names. So you got to do some work to get this to start going off quick. But when it does work, cards seems good. Rule of Law. This is a good one to have back in standard. It's an enchantment, 1 white, 2 colorless. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. I guess on Arena first hand, I think of like the Feather deck. Like this would be good because they cast a ton of spells. That mono red maybe. I mean, there's a lot of things that this is good against. It shuts down Frenzy. That seems good. So I like it being in standard. Goblin Ringleader. 1 red, 3 colorless for a goblin. A 2/2 with haste. When Goblin Ringleader enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all Goblin cards revealed this way into your hand, and then the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. I'm sure we'll see this. I always find myself running into some random ass Goblin deck in the arena. Generally not when you get towards the mythic and stuff like that, but holy smokes, this will possibly draw them a bunch of more goblins that we will just have to kill, or will be too little to get through big creatures, but that's okay. Silverback Shaman. 2 green, 3 colorless for an Ape Shaman with Trample, who's a 5/4. When Silverback Shaman dies, draw a card. It's nice that you get to draw a card when he dies. This will be really good in limited. Alright, next we have Uncaged Fury. So this is a reprint. 1 red, 2 colorless, instant speed. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains double strike until end of turn. It's 3. It costs 3. I don't know. I don't think I've ever used it before. Pacifism. So enchant creature can't attack or block for 1 colorless and 1 white. Very common card. Unchained Berserker. 1 red, 1 colorless for a human berserker. A 1/1 protection. Protection from white? We haven't seen protection printed on the card in standard for a while. Unchained Berserker gets +2/+0 as long as it's attacking. It's not a horrible card. Is that like my nice way of being like, well, I probably won't play it. I don't know if it is or it isn't. So now we have Demolishing Digger for a red and 2 colorless. You get a goblin. A lot of goblins. You can pay 3, tap it, sacrifice a land or an artifact, and draw a card. Alright, Goblin Bird Gripper. 2/1 for a red and a colorless. Get you another goblin. And you can pay a red. Goblin Bird Gripper gains flying until end of turn. Only activate this ability when you control a creature with flying. So we have Reckless Airstrike. For 1 red, it's a sorcery. Deal 3 damage to target creature with flying. Destroy target artifact. Well, that's a totally different story. For 1 red. wipe an artifact away. That seems pretty cool. Alright, so we have a mythic rare to talk about here. After our 3 goblins, we have Kyla Zenith Seeker. 1 black, 1 white, 1 red. Legendary creature. Human cleric. 3/3. Flying vigilance. Alright, let's see what this says here. When Kyla Zenith Seeker enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. That's good already. You may reveal an angel card, a demon card, and or a dragon card from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I think right now this is probably good for grabbing some angels. Being able to maximize and get like a dragon, a demon, and an angel. I mean, we're looking at 6 cards, which is like a whole hand, but think about that one. Let me know what you guys think about this card. I do like it. The art is sick, I'll tell you that, with the angel wings and the dragon demon wings. Seems awesome. Alright, we have Golos Tireless Pilgrim. This costs 5 colorless. That's expensive. Legendary artifact creature. He's a scout. He's a 3/5. When Golos Tireless Pilgrim enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a land card and put that card onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle your library. And he has like some crazy expensive ability down here. For 1 green, 1 red, 1 black, 1 blue, 1 white, 2 colorless. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana cost. Well, shit, I'd hope so for 7. You ought to be able to do something pretty big, especially you got to spend every color to do it. Good God. I really want to see a really sweet artifact creature get printed. I just do. I mean, we have Affinity essentially in Standard with the ability on Tezzeret, the buy a box promo, so I'm just dying to see some artifacts. I don't know if they'll be able to get crazy with them. It could go crazy if there was just like a ton of artifacts on the board and he just starts zapping everybody to death. But I like it. I like the effect on Arena too. He's like shoots them with a laser. It's great. Alright, Pulse of Murasa. 1 green, 2 colorless, instant speed, return target creature or land card from a graveyard to its owner's hand. You gain 6 life. This card is not horrible. Loyal Pegasus. 1 white, flying. Loyal Pegasus can't attack or block alone. Is a 2/1. 4/1 with flying. So Growth Cycle. 1 green, 1 colorless, instant speed. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. It gets an additional +2/+2 until end of turn for each card named Growth Cycle in your graveyard. Well, that's a bonus, right? I mean, it could be 6, 9. I mean, if you had 3 of these in the graveyard and 4/2, you could pump somebody by 9. That's definitely really good, especially at instant speed. Oh, you're not blocking. Good game. Ember Hauler. 2 red for a goblin. 2/2. Pay 1, sacrifice Ember Hauler. It deals 2 damage to any target. So you can pay 1 and get a shock out of him as well. That's not horrible. A lot of goblins. Alright, we got Bone Splinters. It's 1 black sorcery and is an additional cost to cast this spell. Sacrifice a creature. Destroy target creature. Alright, Convolute. 1 blue, 2 colorless. I know I probably slaughtered that name, but that's okay. Instant counter target spell unless its controller pays for. So that's always a good. We always see cards like this. Veil of Summer. 1 green. Instant speed. Says it's a lot. It's a whole lot. It's the whole card. But we're going to get through it. Draw a card. If an opponent has cast a blue or black spell this turn, spells you control can't be countered this turn. You and permanents you control gain hexproof from blue and from black until end of turn. Well, I can tell you right now, this is a good card. Even with it being conditional, there's so much removal in black, and being able to play this against control. This is just a good card. I'll probably talk about it whenever I get some gameplay with it. I like it. This is definitely a good card. Did I say that? Did I say that card is a good card? It's a good card. I don't know what is Jur. as your captivating. This captivating G costs 2 blue, 4 colorless. It's a sorcery. Return up to 3 target creatures to their owner's hand. And that's what that does. Starfield Mystic. 1 white, 1 colorless. Human Cleric. It's a 2/2. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Well, that's good. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Starfield Mystic. There's always stuff that gets printed like this. It's a little different way that they went about it. But Overgrowth Elemental. 1 green, 2 colorless. For an elemental, when Overgrowth Elemental enters the battlefield, put a +1 counter on another target elemental you control. Whenever another creature you control dies, you gain 1 life. If that creature was an elemental, put a +1 counter on Overgrowth Elemental. How many times did I just say elemental there? It's a 3/2. It's an elemental. And if you do a whole lot of elementaling, it does things. Leyline of the Void. Got a preview of this, so that's awesome. 2 black, 2 colorless, for who does not know. If Leyline of the Void is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. If a card would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. Cool. Alright, so we have Bishop of the Exalted. 2 white for Human Cleric, who's a 1/4. Whenever an angel enters the battlefield under your control, gain 4 life. Well, that seems really good, being turn 2, you got an angel that needs to, if you gain 5 life, you get an angel token. In standard right now. Let's see here. Whenever an angel you control dies, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. So if your 4/4 angel dies, usually whatever angel dies, at least you get to replace it with a spirit. That's nice. I like that. What the hell is the card called? Divine Visitation? Yeah, so then you would just get another angel back, and then an angel would enter the battlefield and you would gain 4 life, and so forth. That's pretty cool. Something, I don't think that's infinite. Not in standard, at least. I don't think there's anything right now. Okay, seriously, we needed this card in standard. It does cost 3 white, which pretty much makes it fucking unplayable in most decks, but whatever. It's 3 white, 3 colorless, destroy all non-land permanents. But this is what I want to do with this card. Whenever I'm facing my opponent and it's getting later in the game, and I probably already should have scooped, but instead I want to stick around and see what happens, and he has like 6 planeswalkers on the battlefield and it takes him 10 minutes to do a damn turn. I want this card in my hand. I want it so bad. So we needed this. So Planar Cleansing. 3 white, 3 colorless, sorcery, destroy all non-land permanents. Love it. Alright, we have Loaming Shaman. 1 green, 2 colorless. For Centaur, Shaman. He's a shaman. When Loaming Shaman comes into play, target player shuffles any number of target cards from his or her graveyard into her library. That's a handy thing. It's a handy thing. I don't know. I do know that it can be handy at times when I'm playing. I feel like there were times where I would need some Loaming Shaman, some shaman action. Alright, so we have Blight Beetle. 1 black, 1 colorless. For an insect that is 1/1. Protection from green. I mean, it's awesome that it's protection. Like, I guess if you're playing against a green deck, you just play this. Haha, mono green. Too bad that they'll probably like stomp you in the face before this little Blight Beetle could do a damn thing, but whatever. Creatures your opponents control can't have +1/+1 counters put on them. That's good, but it doesn't necessarily stop Nissa, because it's a land, and then it puts +1/+1 counters on it, and it becomes a creature. But it can't get no more counters. But I don't know. I just gotta move on. Flood of Tears. 2 blue, 4 colorless. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hands. If you return 4 or more non-token permanents you control this way, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. That's good enough. I mean, something will possibly happen with this, but there's so much good stuff in Standard. You know, when you have like 3,000 planeswalkers to choose from, the chances you put a fucking Flood of Tears in your deck is probably slim to none. But what do? Leyline of Anticipation. Alright, got the blue Leyline. 2 blue, 2 colorless. Enchantment. If Leyline of Anticipation is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. You may cast spells as though they had flashed. So if you start the game with this is just great. This is sweet. Any of these things, it's just a card on the board. And then this makes sorcery speed draw cards that are really good even better. Barkhide Troll. 2 green for a troll. Who's a 2/2? Barkhide Troll enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. 1. You can pay 1 and remove a +1/+1 counter from Barkhide Troll. Barkhide Troll gains hexproof until end of turn. I don't think you should have to pay 1. I don't want to pay 1. I just want to remove a counter and he gets hexproof. Then I want to put more counters on it. I want to pay 1. What if I don't have 1 to pay? I don't like it. I don't like the fact you got to pay 1. If I didn't have to pay 1, I'd be like, this card's actually not too bad. Alright, so we have Dungeon Geist. 2 blue, 2 colorless for a spirit who's a 3/3 flyer. When Dungeon Geist enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. For as long as you control Dungeon Geist. I like that. That's definitely cool. It's a lot better than it until you're on your next upkeep. So I like that. This seems really good. I mean, it's a 3/3 flyer. It isn't going to see play. It's just not. But I still like it. I always like cards that tap down their opponent's creatures. Hanged Executioner. 1 white, 2 colorless for a spirit. Flying. When Hanged Executioner enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. So he's a 1/1. You get a 1/1 for 3. You better do more. 1 white and 3 colorless. Exile Hanged Executioner. Exile target creature. Or Planeswalker? No, it's just creature. It's a rare. I mean, it's good. It's alright. We have Ravenous Hydra. Green, X. I'm sure this is just going to be some creature you pay mana and get a big ass Hydra. So, Trample, that's a plus. Ravenous Hydra enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. When Ravenous Hydra enters the battlefield, choose one of the following. Double the number of +1/+1 counters on Ravenous Hydra. Or Ravenous Hydra may fight with target creature you don't control. So essentially you can pay a bunch of mana and have a big ass Hydra. Or you can pay even more mana and have it fight somebody. And have a big ass Hydra. It's funny it says may fight with. You may fight with this. With a creature on the board. You want to fight him? You guys gonna fight. Alright, I saved this one for last. I didn't do that yesterday. I just randomly kind of did them. But I did want to save this one for last because I'm so excited about this card. It is a card I read. I looked at it. I read it. I read what people were saying about it. I did the whole thing. But we're going to talk about it anyway. Legion's End. It is a sorcery. It's a little rough, but I do like this card a lot. 1 black, 1 colorless. And it says, exile target creature an opponent controls with converted mana cost 2 or less, and all other creatures that player controls with the same name as that creature. Cool. It doesn't stop though. Then that player reveals their hand and exiles all cards with that name from their hand and graveyard. So there's so many good things about this. 1, you get to kill a creature. You at least get to look at their hand and possibly get a bunch of cards out of their hand, and you get to take stuff out of a graveyard that they cannot get back. It's exile. I know it's 2 or less, but this shit hits a lot. It hits Krasis, it hits Wild Growth Walker. I mean, it just hits a ton of great creatures. So I'm really hell. It hits that Hydra we were just talking about. Even if he's like a 12/12, that guy's just gone to Legion's End. So I love this card. This is definitely my favorite card spoiled today. That being said, that is the end of this video. Please hit like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching the video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow because I'm sure there'll be spoilers tomorrow. As long as nothing crazy happens, like insane, I'll be here spoiling cards with you. So I'll see everyone then. Take care.